Hello, how are you? My name is Anthony Gray, and welcome to another edition of Grayscale. As you can see, besides my glasses and the side of my head, I have a, I do believe it's a, I think it's 10 by 24 canvas here, an acrylic pour with glitter all over it. Okay, it's been sitting around for a while, deciding on what to really do with this. So I guess I'll make a quick painting of some poppies, maybe 4 or 5 of them scattered all around, with some leaves going on and all that good stuff. I'll paint the poppies in red, so we'll just sketch them out here for you. So I'll do one here. Okay, that's like, you know, just a quick sketch. That's one. I'll put one down here. I'll have a leaf kind of bent over there and maybe kind of like so. And then I'll have one kind of draped on the other side here. I know you guys don't really see it too well. I'm choosing the colors on purpose this way. Okay, I'll get a smaller one back here. Something like that. Kind of straight on with this fella. Something like that. Okay, and then I'll do one more. I'll have them very unusual shape. Oh, that one. I have them kind of curved, kind of funny there. I'll kind of have him out a little bit more. Something like that. And you've got one here. Something like that. Okay, now I've got the 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, just in various little areas here. Okay, I can block these guys in, and I probably will do that. So we'll take a flat brush here. Actually, before I block them in, let's add some of the flowers, some of the petals, I guess. Not necessarily the petals. This brush is too long. Let's get a smaller one here. So I got a 3/4 inch brush. I'm gonna wet the bristles just a little bit here. I'm gonna put some stems on these guys. So I'm going into my blue. There's a reason why. Straight blue, no medium or anything like that. Find where the center would be and you plop a stem right here like that. Now this pad has already this has already been what's the word I'm trying to say for this guy? It's already got its varnish on it. Is what I'm trying to say. And we'll have one. I have him cross, come on down like that. And give him a little thickness to his little body there. There you go. So we got that established already. Now I'm gonna dip a little bit of medium into it, just to flow, have this thick body paint flow a little. Okay. Now the petals to these guys, some of the leaves, they're a little on the thick side, so I'm gonna go with the flat edge, and I'll curve them up a little bit like that. I'll add some interesting little colors to them and whatnot. I'm just gonna get a little more medium, just to move this paint along a little bit. Get a little bit of red, just a small touch of red into the blue. I don't want to totally ruin the blue. but just deepen it a little bit. And I'll put one something like that. Have it cut it into the plant and have it come out that way, and it comes up here like that. Okay, some will come over the plants, some will come underneath the plants. All right, so it's really your decision. Get a little bit more medium. I'm just touching like the corner of the brush into the medium just to move it around a bit. Get a little bit of red, put it in there. Okay, there's a method to my madness of why I'm doing such things. Let's go here. Let's go out like that, and we're gonna narrow that to the point like that, and then we're gonna continue on just like that. So you got one kind of bent over a wee bit. Make them pretty interesting, you know. Let's have one here. Now it takes quite a bit of paint. Okay. And I get a little bit of medium because these plants don't start off narrow. These are kind of thick leaves here. Okay. And I'll have one, I guess I have them shoot up here like this. Right here, a nice little curve right in there. Just like that. And we'll curve up like that. Very, you know, interesting little patterns and, you know, stuff like that. And I just dip a little bit of the medium in there just to have it go smoothly, because this has been already varnished, the pour, and plus, you know, it's got its sparkles and stuff, so it's got a little bit of texture to it. Okay, so you just have to keep that in mind as you do a few of these. Now I should really wait, because I have I'll just have it shoot out from here just like that, and have them come down this way just like that. All right, I'll probably put a couple going past the in front of the flowers, I should say, so we'll stop it right there. All right, so let's block in some of these guys. Now I can add, I should do it as it dries, I should add a little bit of yellow to give a little spark of green on some of these fellas, but I'll wait. All right, but let's start to block in some of these. So we're gonna do it one at a time, of course. So let's zoom in. And we're gonna go from the right to the left. So we got this fella right here. Okay, he's pretty much straight on. All right, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just go right straight into the cad red. I got cad red, phthalo blue. Okay, and we're gonna, I kind of, you know what these look like, and I'm just gonna block it right in. And typically you go in and then go outward like this. Okay, now when you get accustomed to these and you get used to doing them, you kind of know where everything is. Okay, and like I say, I'm just blocking it in, because a lot of this, the key to a lot of this is in the strokes themselves. All right, and hopefully I'll be able to show you what I'm talking about here. Put it right in there, kind of cover it up pretty good. They don't have to be in a perfect type of shape. Okay, just like this. Okay, just like that. Now, why am I keeping that center kind of like out there? Well, I can take a little bit of this blue. All right, pop that blue right in there just like that. Now the blue looks almost black. You follow me? Okay, now we'll start to do some slick little things with this blue. We're gonna take it. Now, each one's a separate petal, and I'm gonna just feather. Okay, just feather it out like that. And we'll feather this one out too. Go right into the dark, takes a very light touch, And you kind of want to separate each leaf. Just like that. Toward the middle, it gets a little larger. And then toward the sides, they get a little smaller. Okay. Just like that. So that is one already blocked in. Okay. So let's move over to this guy. Now, he's a little bit a little bit different. We have one petal that's turned over. This one right here is turned over like that. He's turned over a little bit, just like so. Okay, and you see that some of the blue is on my red, so I give it a little darker cast, and that's fine. Okay, because I didn't clean off my brush, which is fine. Then here and here, okay, he can be a little darker in here, but he kind of blooms out into his brightness a little bit, but keep him dark in there like that. Then we'll kind of brighten them up out here. Like I say, once you get into the highlighting and the shading, well, we're getting some of the shading done now with that blue. Okay, especially here in the middle. Just like that. With him. Okay, he's an open fella. Let's raise him up a little bit. Okay. So I'll clean off the brush. Like I say, this is the block in stage. Forgive my head. Going back into the cad red here. Nothing but all cad red, no medium. It's not needed at this stage. And we'll get plenty of paint here. And we'll just brighten this guy out a little bit. Just like that, cover it right up. You don't need anything really transparent here at this stage. And we got one more. Right in here. He's kind of flaring out a little bit. Just like that. Flare him out. Cover him up there, just like that. Okay, now that's number 2. Okay. This petal flipped, well, he's flipped over. Definitely flipped over. He can be sort of kind of bent the other way also. He's dark. And then this guy, get a little bit of blue. He got a little bit of shading in him too, right up and around here. Just like that. Just play around with it. Mix it in there a little bit. Bring some of that dark in there. Just like that. And I'll round them off a little bit. So we got this little shading happening. This guy's flipped over in our direction. Okay, let's go over here. And we're gonna go upward. This dude, he's another one that's pretty much straight on. Okay, so I'll get some more cad red. Remember, this is just a shading in process, and he's a little closed in than the others. And he's in the back too, so. And since he's in the back, I might tackle the ones that are in the back. I might tackle them first, but we'll see how it goes. You can also, at this stage, alter the shapes of them if you would like. Really up to you. Yeah, he's straight on. It's like that. And this is a good practice one too if you want to do your strokes. Practice your strokes. All that good stuff. Take some blue. Right here in the center. Okay, and just like that, go on the other side. And same thing here. And one more on the other side there. Just like that. Okay. I don't necessarily have to fade them, take such a strong fade out or anything, because the highlight colors that come into this, you'll see. Okay, it look pretty cool. All right, so you got 3 so far. We got the final fella. This guy here is a little weird. He's like to his side and he's flipped and looking kind of misshapen and all sorts of strange. Okay, and we're gonna paint him as so. This is the one that's bowing out here. Okay, and he's toward us. He's a little on the dark side, which is fine, being toward us here. All right. Okay, let's get some red, and we'll play around with this fella right down here, because these guys are flipped kind of odd. There's nothing really straightforward with this guy. This guy's kind of got twists and turns on him, which is fine. Just like that. Okay, now, and we'll darken in just that part there, and we'll kind of round that off, fade that a little bit, give him a little bit of darkness here too, just like that. Okay. Just like so. All right. I don't want to take the larger brush. We're going to go with a smaller brush, a complete 1/2 inch. Where's the camera? Where's the camera? There we are. We'll do it the 1/2 inch first. I'm going to just dip my brush into some water. Okay. Now, when it comes to separating petals and all of that good stuff, you can be pretty creative with it. Whatever petal you want to stand out in front. Okay, you can add some little bits of shadow to it, and highlights, and fun stuff like that. I'm going into my yellow, and I'm gonna get a little bit of red into that yellow. Whatever one you want to be overlapped is the one you'll do last. Okay, so this guy here, I'm gonna press, curve, pull down, and have it disappear just like that. Just like this. Okay, very simple procedure to have done. All right, let me get a little more cad red. I'm gonna need plenty more red, because I want to do the highlights, not necessarily using white. I may use white for the ending highlights, but mainly a whole lot of red and yellow for the first batch. Okay, more yellow here, and a little bit of medium, soften up the paint, and we're going to get red to it. And here we go. We're going to go, now this one here is going to be covered by the other leaves, so I'm going to go on the bottom here, right here on the bottom, and we're going to press, pull, you're going to turn and go on in and lift up. Give it a little overlap for each one, just like that. Overlap, and we're going to curve him and go on in like that. Okay, those guys are going to be in the back. All right, now I'm going to get a very slight touch of white, because we're going to put a couple in the front now. Get a little bit of medium, kind of soften up that paint, loosen the paint up a little bit. And we're going to put the leaves on the side. We're going to put these guys in the front. So we're going to press, turn, come in, and make it disappear. Overlap a little bit, and overlap one, and we're going to curve him around and bring him right on in there. You might not be able to tell at first, but trust me, we got a final highlight to add with this too. I'm going to do the same thing right here. Press, curve, just like that. And we're going to, just like that. So that guy's right out there. Okay. And you can kind of smooth out some of that. Not make it so harsh. Okay. So we're almost there. We'll do a little bit of final highlight. So I'm gonna clean off my brush. Use the same 1/2 inch brush. And I'm gonna get a little bit of white, a little bit of red. A little more red. So it's a lot of white and red. This is, like I say, the final highlight for this guy. And you just pick and choose where you want your main highlights to be. Remember, this guy, these two are in front here. So I'm going to just press, pull, and you release. It's going to have to be a little bit brighter. So I'm getting a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white for some highlight. I still got a little bit of red in there. We're going to do that again. Just like that. And I'll give a little push for a rim and put some of that in there. Another push rim of color. We'll put it in there like that. Okay, just like that. We're going to go back into our mix and we're going to how about this one over here? Why not? Give a nice little rim of color and we're going to put him right up in there like that. And maybe a nice little rim of color right here and put him in just like this. And we're going to get another rim of color, boom, and put them right in there like that. Make them pop right out. Okay. Don't have to do that with every one of them. You can be kind of cute and give only a little bit of highlight right at the bend. Just like that. And go around the circumference of the flower a little bit. Okay. Only in certain little spots. Okay, I'm gonna get a nice, some yellow just on the ends, and we're gonna just curve him in like that. Make it pop, that one leaf kind of pop out there. And I'm gonna get rid of that inside. Just make them kind of pop out a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna take one corner of my brush with blue. And we're going to give it a little shadow right up in there like that. And we'll just a little bit of some shadow there. And I can bring some of that back. I'm cleaning off my brush. Now remember, if you're a little worried that it don't look right, remember this color recedes. Okay, so I'm getting a little touch of blue, and I'll darken some of that up in there. Just like that. And it sets the flower back a wee bit. And that's all you kind of want. Just like that. Okay. Get some red. And you can go back from the top, and you see how you can subtly bring some of that back. Okay, I'm checking things out here, see if it needs another touch up anywhere. As of right now, I don't really see it. So I'm gonna get just another little light touch of blue, just a light touch of blue, and we're just gonna kind of frame out some of that. Because they just tease some shadow in there on some of these fellas, just like that, back and forth. I say some of it brings a lot of that petal out, just like that one. Okay, I'm gonna get a rim of yellow, a little bit of yellow, and we'll kind of put that in there like that, kind of bring him out a little bit. Just like that, it only takes a little bit for that fella in the back there. Okay, the striations don't have to be as heavy. Okay, well, believe it or not, that one's finished. Okay, so that's the one fella in the back there. Let's deal with this big one right here. Okay, we're going to draw back a little bit, draw back one more, draw back again. All right. Now, we're going to handle this guy the same way. We're going to get a little bit of yellow. I'll put the yellow right here. A little more yellow. The tiniest bit of red in that. Slight hint of white. All right. Get some medium. Put the medium in there. Now my brush has a little bit of blue in it, so these may vary in color a wee bit, and that's fine. Let's go to the ones that I know are going to be in the back. Like this guy. Push. And boom. Put it right in there. Okay. And curve him in. Give him a nice little curve. A nice sharp curve right in there. He's in the back there. Just chilling out. Okay. We know he's going to be in the back. Okay. Let's see. Who else do I want in the back? Well, we'll do it. We'll just stack it. We'll stack them. Just getting a little bit of yellow into my red. Okay, getting plenty of it. Getting some medium here. And we're going to continue on. He's definitely going to be, even though he's in the back, he'll be in front of this fella. So we're going to give a nice little push, and we're going to come on in. Okay, and we're going to continue on. Give him another one here. Just like that. Okay, he's got like a little ripple petal going on. And we're going to give him a nice little edge right in there. All right. Now, to accentuate that one fella, I'm getting a little bit of yellow, a little bit of white. And we'll just give him a T as a color right there. And we'll fade him in like that. Okay, which instantly brings him out in front. Excuse me. All right. Do the same thing with this guy. Matter of fact, we'll take a nice rim of yellow, boom, like that, and we'll guide him right on in, just like that. Just like that for him. Another rim of yellow, touch of white with that yellow. Give him a nice little rim of color too. Red around in here. Give him a touch, stronger touch of yellow there. And we're gonna, not as much, curve him right in like that. And we'll do the same thing with this guy. Put him in a little bit longer like that. Okay, and we'll give him a quick one right here. Matter of fact, I'll touch a little bit of white right on that end, and we do another, just a quick one. Just like, that's all you need really. Just like that. Okay. All right. You see how that shadow helps to accentuate that a little bit? And these look like little ripples in here, little folds. Okay, you know, fun stuff. Fun times are had here. Okay, going back into our red yellow mix. A wee bit of medium, loosen up the paint just a little bit. And we're gonna come here, give a nice press, and we'll come on down. Just like that, nice little petal there. We're gonna sharpen him, and we're gonna curve him right in there, just like that. Okay. Not as tough as you would think. I did not clean my brush, getting some yellow and some white. Time to accentuate some things here. Maybe boom and give him a little curve there, boom. Then maybe one out here. Kind of like that bright red there. Give him a little, yeah, that's it. Let's get a little more of that yellowish white, because I want a nice little rim here for this guy, boom, and kind of pop him in there. Make sure it goes in the right direction though. Same thing with him, boom, just like that. Okay. All right. We'll have him be a little showboat. So we'll put a little more yellow and white in that guy. Rub around in here. Press, and we're gonna go on down just like that. We're gonna brighten him up, give him a little rim of color there. Rub around there and bring him in. A little rim of color and bring him in just like that, and curve him and like that. Pop him right out there. Now, since I just did that, take the smallest amount of blue, add some shadow in that guy. Right up in here. And we'll wipe off the brush. And we're gonna bring that blue out. We'll pat him out there like that. just like that, and have him just glaze him out a little bit, just like that. Easy to really accentuate and pop those guys right on out there. Take a little bit of yellow and give him a little ridge right there. Okay. I kind of like that little ridge. Let's put one on the side right there, just like that, and we'll brighten this out, kind of tone it down like that. But watch what I'm going to do. Take the smallest amount of blue once again. Okay, I'll wipe some of it off on my brush, and we're gonna kind of add some dark red in here. Just scrumble that in. Just keep rubbing away. You're not getting rid of the red, but he is definitely in shadow. Instant ripple, just like that. Okay. We'll put another one here. We'll curve it. A little touch of blue, and we're gonna little touch of blue, just a small touch of blue. I'm gonna wipe some of that off. I don't need to be too deep, just like that, and put it right into that paint. Paint's still wet, and we're gonna give it a little curve in there. So now you got another ripple petal, just like that. Now, when you have a ripple petal, okay, I'm gonna take a wee bit of red, white, get some yellow. Okay, a little bit more red. And you just kind of brighten that up a little bit, right up in there. Make him stand out. Right in here too. Okay. You fade it out a little bit, just like that. Just like so. Instant little ripples. Okay, add all sorts of little character to these guys. Okay, so we got that one knocked out. We got that one knocked out. See, each one has their own little characters and whatnot. Let's get to this odd one right here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to kind of give the top a little bit of glow, like that. Just a little bit. And we'll fade that a little bit into that darkness. Okay. And a little touch of white right up here. Stronger touch of white. Just like that. And you fade the rest in. Just keep rubbing. Okay. Now, that I established that, let's get some more yellow. So hold on one second. Let me get some more yellow on my palette here. So I'm dipping into the yellow. I didn't necessarily clean my brush. A little yellow, a little white. Because now you need striations that are, your vantage point is, boom, right there. A little dot there. So you're going to take it. I'll just go out, go a little curve, and go on in like that. And make one a little bit higher. And aim everything towards the dot. Okay. And I'm curving it inward. And I'm going to curve just like that. Just like so. And I'll round them off. I got a little bit of red still. Very light, very lightly. Just like that. Now, clean off the brush. I'm going to get some nice red highlights there. A little red. More yellow than the red. And a slight push. Slight push. Boom. Bring it on in there like that. Curve them on in. Slight push. Get that rim of yellow going. Okay. Just like that. Don't necessarily need it all over the place. Get a little bit of white. And I'll just give them a little push there. Just like that. Alright. Okay. Give them a little spot or something right there. Okay. I'm just continuing the strokes. I'm just getting rid of some of those type of lines. I don't need really all of those lines. Just like that. Like so. Okay. Okay. He's pretty much the same way, same type of fold. Okay. Cleaning off the brush. I'm gonna scrumble a little bit of yellow in here like this. Just like that. And I'll round it off. Think of the round shape. Okay. And just like that, and just fade it right in to the darker red. Just like that. Alright. Now, of course, you see the glare of the light, if anything. The sunlight glare is what you're looking at. The tiniest bit of red into my yellow. And we're going to do it once again. Now the horizon, the vanishing point's right there. So we'll take it like that. Get a little rim of color there. Another rim of color. Stronger rim than that. Just like that. And we'll come on around. Use a stronger rim of color. Nothing but pure yellow this time. Right on the edge. Right on the edge. And we're going to start turning this guy inward. Okay. Just like that. And we'll bring him around like that. Get a little bit of white. We'll strengthen up some of those turns and twists there. Just like that. Okay. Get a little push there. Just like that. Get another rim of color. Now what I'm doing is just accentuating, boom. Just like that. And if you don't want strong striations, that's fine, because you just really want that tip to stick out a little bit. Okay, so obviously he's definitely in front. All right. If I wanted him in front of this one a little bit, I will just take a nice piece of red and there, instantly, he's in front, like that. See how simple that is? Okay, get a little bit of yellow and pop that yellow in there and travel him right on around. Oh, give him a good rim of color right there, one out there, so that you know that he's in front. And that's it, leave him be. Okay, all right. And we'll bring him down. Get a little bit of medium, because I feel my paint breaking a little bit. Get some more cat red, because I want a smoother transition of that right in there like that. Give him a little color, bring him right on down there. And see, you can soften this back and forth, soften all of that. I'm gonna make him a little brighter, particularly around that area right in here. Just like that. Okay, just brighten him up a little bit, and maybe a little something here on the side, just like that. And you smooth it out, Okay, rub it right on out there, just like that. Interesting ways to bring out depth and dimension in your flower. Nothing but straight cat red now, because he's pretty dark, and we just bring him right in there, float him right in there, just like that, and get rid of that gap of red there, or of green. Put him right in there, just like that. Now, in doing that, I just created a petal directly in front of another. So I got to highlight that edge. A little bit of yellow, a little bit of white in that yellow. And we'll take this part right here, and we'll kind of pop him in like that. Give him a little wiggle, and then come on in. So now you got a leaf that's folded over, just that quick. He's folded over. He's in the back. Pretty neat, right? Okay, right here. And we're going to slide him right in there, just like that. Give him a little rim right there and slide him right in. Give him another little rim right there and slide him right in like that. Okay. And that's good just the way that one is. We're going to take this guy here. We'll be a little creative. We'll get some yellow. Get a little bit of white. And we're going to just come here, even that out like that, curve it, and put him in a work like that. So we're going to curve him. We'll bring him out there like this. Just like that. And we'll curve him in and bring him in like that. Okay. So we have him flopped over a wee bit. Now, since I did that, I got to take a little bit of bluish and just right in there like that, and then we'll lighten that up a little bit. Instant fold. Make him pretty dark in here too. Just taking some blue. Just like that. Put him right in there. Just like that. Instant folded flower right there. Okay. All right. We're going to accentuate this guy too a little. Pop a little dark in there with him, and we'll fade him in there like that. Bring him. So he's cupped, but he's cupped in shadow. Okay. So not much of a too bright of a rim of color. I'll hint a little something there. Just here, just on the edge, and we're gonna curve him in a little bit, just like that. Just like that. Just like that. Give him a little curve. All you need really is a push. All I need is the edge. Okay. Just like that. And then we'll give him a curve right here. Boom. And we'll trail some of that. Just like that. Okay. There. And bring him in a little bit. Okay. So we have 1, 2, 3. Okay. And then we got the final guy right down there. And we'll highlight right around in here like that. We'll scrumble some highlight in there. Like this. Fade him right into that dark. Just like that. Okay. Something like so. Fade him right in there. We got maybe a little peak right in here too. Right in here. Going out like that. Go deeper in there. We'll just fade that. Just like that. Now, if you feel that's a little much, that's okay, because you can always soften that with the red. So don't worry about all of that right now. Okay. We're gonna clean up that brush. And remember, we got a few little petals to do. We're gonna bring some of these blue leaves out in front. You know, all sorts of fun stuff. Fun stuff. Okay. Cad red, just straight cad red. Cad red, just straight cad red. Oh, we're gonna take this cad red and we're gonna come out and in like this. This guy. Fade him right into that dark. Don't be afraid to do one of these numbers. It's okay. Okay, getting some more cad red. Every time you do a stroke, push, pull, release. Overlap if you have to. Push, pull, release. Push, pull, release. Getting some more. Nothing but straight cad red, no medium. Push, pull, release. Push, pull, release. Pull, release. And push, pull, release. Just like so. Alright. Get a little bit of white mixed in. It's got little yellow bits in there too. Okay, I'm putting in a little bit of red. and maybe a little something right here. All in the strokes, guys. Just like that, and maybe a little push of something right here, and bring them on in, just like that. Okay. And if you want something to come in a little bit further, just like so. And doing it that way, you just push this pedal out, gave him an instant shadow there. You see, you don't have to work as hard. Don't try to kill yourself. And we're gonna just give him a little rim here, turn him. Rim and turn him a little bit. A little more medium than that though. So I'm really getting into the medium, just loosen up this paint a little bit, get a little cat of red. Touch of this white, yellow-ish stuff I got going on here. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Come on in like that with this fella. There we go. Just like that, and bring him in, bring him around. Now this is almost like a glaze, so go back and forth a little bit. Just a little bit right in there. Go in a circle. Now I'm gonna take that, take the tip of the brush. This is where it pays to have a nice chiseled edge. Overlap a little bit. Just like that. And we'll bring him around like that. Bring him on around. If you feel you got a little too much, wipe it off. Okay. And right here, it just needs a little touch of it's like that. I'll do one right. Ooh, I'll do one right here. There. And a little one right there. Instant ripples, instant ridges. Okay. Remember to have fun. Have fun. Let's take this guy here. We'll do it. I know we will. Maybe I can get away with it with this. Let's see. Give him a, just like that, and turn him around like that. Just like that. So he's got a little flip turn there with that fella on that side. Now, if he's turned and flipped a wee bit, we're gonna take a little bit of the blue, a little bit of the red, stir in a little bit of, make me some instant dark, and we're gonna kind of darken him in it, or a little bit, or in there like that. So we're gonna put him in some dark right there, give him a little shadow in there, right over that highlight. You can do that, you know. You can change your mind. So he's got a little turned, little rim there. All right. Okay. All right. Now, we got some of that happening. Let's pull the camera back a little bit. Let's see, like touch of red in that cab blue, and we get a little, still mainly blue. Got a little bit of red just to deepen that blue, that phthalo a little bit. A wee bit of medium, loosen up that paint. Because remember, we're gonna have some of these guys in front of these flowers. Okay. You do remember I was gonna do that, right? Let's have one here, right in here. Have him come out pretty heavily. Have him come out pretty thick, just like that. And we're gonna have him come out and curve, just like that. Okay. Now apparently, there's not enough paint for that. Have no fear. You do it again. And do it again. Do it again. Do it again. There you go. Smooth it right out. Color that in there and come on right across like that. Okay, just like that. Okay, so we got all sorts of interesting little happenings going on here. Now let's highlight a few of these guys. I'm just getting a little touch of yellow here. Did not take the blue off my brush. It's not needed. He's in front, this guy. a little bit in front. We're going to get a little corner of yellow. Okay. And we're going to do it again with that yellow. Watch what happens. Let's sneak in some of that green in that guy. See that? Now, obviously, you cannot see most of that, but you will if I take a little bit of white and put it in there. Watch this. Real careful. Real careful, like, and we're going to highlight a little bit of that right in there. Get a bit of yellow. Put that yellow in there. Very lightly. I'll go back around like this. And we'll highlight a little bit of that green in there with him. Get a little bit of white. There. Cute little highlight right up in there like that for that guy. It's cutesy little highlight there happening. Do the same thing with this guy too. A little cute little something right there. A little bit of green peeking through. Don't want to have too much going on with it. Even here on the side with this guy, a little bit of green. With this fellow too, just a little hint of green in there. Not too much. I'll keep him black. This fellow right here, give him some green too. Show him a little love. This fellow right here. Matter of fact, let's just give him a nice, because it's folded in, so we'll give him a nice one right in there like that. Okay. Give a nice little rim of yellow here. Just like that, little something back there. We'll tease a little bit of green on him too, not too much there, just like that for that guy. Brighten him up a little bit more, have him stand out, just like that. Okay. All right, we're almost there. Almost. As I'm looking at it, you know, they're pretty cool to look at. They're not bad. Get a little bit of yellow. Get a little bit of blue. Get a little bit of white. Get some more yellow. Something like that. Okay. And we're gonna press, give it a kind of wiggle, and we're gonna take our time with these because they're kind of just like that. Put a little something right up in there, and we'll narrow him out. We can be a little more careful with these guys because they're kind of out in front. Okay, a little more white on this one. Press, wiggle, come out straight, give a little tip there. Okay, maybe one going downward, and one going around in here. Have one pointing upward like that. Okay, a little more yellow. And we'll have one come right here. Wiggle, give him a little tip. Okay, just like that. We'll put one because he's in front of that guy, so we got a couple like that. Just like that. And we'll have one come downward like so. Just a little bit more paint right down here on the bottom. We're gonna press, and we got another one there. And let's have one aiming upward right here. Boom, like that. So we got some in front of those guys. Okay, we're 98% done. I'm going to take a round brush. Matter of fact, we're so close to done, my name should be coming across there. That's how close we are. Take a nice little round brush like this. This is a number 6. Little round stencil brushy thing there. Right around here, we're going to do them little characteristic rings that will be around them. I'm just taking some titanium white. I'm putting it into the bristles, especially for the ones that are like right in front of us here. And watch this. Look at this, watch. You see, pop a little circle in there, just like that. And out here a little bit, and you know, some go in a little more than others, like that. And as that slick, this one's more of an oval. comes out, disappears over there, and it comes back out here like that. It might come up a little bit here, and you know, you got a little bit of something going on in there, and maybe a touch there, but still maintain a little bit of that circle, bring some of the loose stuff up in there like that. All right, that wakes everything up, doesn't it? Take a step at a time for each one of these guys, that's all. He's a little more direct, this fellow. He's kind of in front. Don't try to make it a perfect circle. Okay, just like that. He don't get none. He's been bad. But that's pretty much it. With a painting like this, you don't necessarily have to go overboard, because you got such an incredibly active background and you got the glitter going and all of that fun stuff. So you really don't have to really add too much to anything like this, because you got the glitter green background. This is why the leaves are also a little bit on the blue side too. And you see they're cutting in front of different plants. One plant's cutting in front of the other, and you kind of need that. Okay, just for a little bit of just a little bit of interest. All right, I think this time I'll put my name in dark, and I'll put it right here in the corner. I'd like to thank you guys for checking this out. If you have any kind of questions, any comments, good, bad, or indifferent, send them my way. All right. Gotta darken up that blue. Hey, there we go. Now that looks like a number. And there. I think we got everything that's supposed to be here. Obviously, I'll let it dry, tack up, revarnish it, because this was already varnished beforehand. And now I just paint it on top of the painted piece, and well, there you go. I'll take a pretty decent picture of it, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching this, and I hope it helped you out in doing poppies. You see the strokes and whatnot, and even doing them in different directions and different ways and all of that. I hope it helps you. So with all of that said, I thank you very much, and I'll see you when I see you. Enjoy the rest of your day, and peace.